Hey guys, giving away a Nintendo Switch and a game on the channel this month. All you need to do is like, subscribe, and hit the bell on the video so that you get notified when one of my videos goes live. Then you need to put a comment on that video, and that will guarantee you an entry into the Nintendo Switch draw, which will happen at the end of August. If you like PS4s, Claytano is giving away a PS4 on his channel. So I'm actually going to start the video a little bit later today, at round 10. The reason I've started it at round 10, and if anybody you can see immediately I'm at 50 gold, is because I open-forted. I don't want to do 10 rounds of just not placing any units when I open fort, so I'm just going to show you from round 10 onwards, and I'm going to skip a couple of other rounds where it gets a little bit boring as well, but I will fill you in on exactly what happened in those scenarios. But yeah, I essentially open-forted for 10 rounds, I got to 50 gold, here we are. You don't have to watch 10 rounds of me just putting nothing onto the field, as well as me talking for 10 rounds of nothing being on the field, saying, guess what guys, I didn't buy a unit on this round. Guess what guys, also didn't buy a unit on this round. So what I'm doing is open-forting. I'm still going to continue to open-fort post round 10 because I want to guarantee that I lose. I also know that I don't have a strong enough composition to beat anybody right now. So I feel much better, especially versus Beast Warrior comps, just open-forting, because if I go against a Beast Warrior comp and they summon Poisonous Worms or they summon Werewolves, I'm just going to take more damage. So for instance, in this scenario here, wouldn't have made much difference. I think I would have died regardless and not managed to kill anything, but versus anybody that's got like a Werewolf or a Razor Claw or a Poisonous Worm, I don't want to take the damage from the summons, so I just open-fort until I feel comfortable. Every piece of gold that I invest post round 10 from the 50 gold that I generated from open-forting goes directly into experience until I hit level 7. And then at level 7, I start rolling for things to essentially try and build my feathered composition. The easiest builds to go out of open fort are feathered, Glacier Knight or Dragon Knight, as long as they're not being contested, and to be honest, in this current meta, still very few people are building knights. And then also something like mages. So you can't really go divinity mages because they're usually contested, but if you just go traditional mages, which aren't particularly strong right now, so I wouldn't recommend doing it, those are the 3 comps that are the most successful to open fort into. I always go feathered, just because it's, again, not something that people build from the very get-go, so it's very unlikely that people are contesting your units, and it's quite easy to just snowball at level 7 into a fully fledged 3-star Mania feathered build. The reason I wait until level 7 to start rolling is because it gives me the highest chance of finding Razor Claw, which is the one druid that really is difficult to get going. And you can see now that I've picked up Shining Assassin, I've picked up pretty much everything except for Whisper Seer in terms of getting my feathered build online. So I just need a single Whisper Seer, and I'm in a good position. Which you can see here, I'm just going to start rolling down pretty extensively. I actually found a couple of really good 2-stars. Not enough to make my composition worth, you know, like, not enough to make my composition likely to beat anybody, but it's good enough to start taking out a couple of units here and there, start reducing the amount of damage that I'm taking. Even versus Beast Warrior comps now, I feel a bit more comfortable because I know that I'm going to take out a couple of units here or there, which means I'm probably going to take less damage overall. And you can see here that I did manage to reduce the damage that I was taking overall with this build that I put on down to about 5 or 4 damage. So that was okay. So I'm actually going to keep rolling around 30 gold to try and get my composition strong enough to beat the wolf round, simply because it is important to me to be able to kill the wolves when I open fort, because it provides a lot of itemization, and especially for something like the the Shadow Crawler that I've got, having the wolves I just skipped past the Whispered Seer. I actually realised I did that, by the way, and I kind of punched myself in the head after doing it. But yeah, it's pretty important to at least get your 6 feathered online by the time that you get to the wolf round, because killing the wolves is really important when you open fort. You don't want to take the unnecessary damage for one, so if you lose to the wolves by a significant margin, you don't want to take the unnecessary damage. And the second reason is that, again, like I said, the items. Items are very important when you are open forting, because you can stack your Shadow Crawler, which you can see my Shadow Crawler is starting to get stacked in this game, with Frantic Masks, big damage items, and in general make her a very, very powerful carry. So I keep myself around 18 gold. I actually feel strong enough at this point in time to beat the wolf round. I don't really feel like I need to roll that extensively. I can just wait for the wolf round to be over, because I've got the 6 feathered bonus activated. And that means that I'm going to be doing a lot of dodging. I should, with a 2-star Wind Ranger, a Frantic Mask Shadow Crawler, and also having my Shining Assassin online, be able to beat the wolves for no real problem. Between rounds 15 and 20, I actually have 2 main goals. I roll to try and finish off my 3 stars, find Razor Claw for instance, get a 2-star Shadow Crawler, blah 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 blah. But I also want to build up at least 20 gold by the time that round 21 rolls around, because I will then want to roll down to level 8. Level 8 is where this composition ends. This is that is the final kind of frontier for this composition. You don't really need to go to level 9 unless you're in a really late game fight, or you want to add a utility piece that is going to help you versus a build that might counter you, you know, like adding a legendary piece versus a full knight build, for instance, that doesn't particularly counter you, I would say, but it is worth noting that full knight builds can be difficult when they are really stacked with like a 3-star Hell Knight, a 3-star Lightblade Knight, especially if they're playing Glacier 6 Knight, which is a composition that kind of has been seen a lot more frequently recently. So it is important to note that you should be aware of the late game reasons to go to level 9. I would never usually go to level 9 if I could help it. There isn't really much need to, but I will usually go to level 9 if I'm in a super late game scenario where I feel comfortable with the situation that I'm in, enough so that I know that I'm not going to lose easily, but I also know that there is some reason that I need to get a big level 9 unit on the board, like a helicopter, a Devastator for instance, that kind of thing. So I actually end up losing this round, mainly because the Flaming Wizard was actually just zapping the crap out of the units that I actually cared about, which was really annoying. A couple of crits and I actually would have ended up winning this, but that Flaming Wizard actually ruined my day by zapping my Shadow Crawler down, so it's another reason why I realised that I might not be strong enough at this point in time, so I, at round 17, decided to just roll down and see what I could find. Very, very luckily managed to find the bits that could start to set up for a very, very strong feathered build, and you can see here that I pick up loads of Shadow Crawlers, which is awesome because we want the Shadow Crawlers for the late game for sure. So I rolled down just to be able to set myself up to get towards my more late game orientated build. And you can see here I actually then picked up another Shadow Crawler and also had a Taboo Witcher there, which sets me up actually for something that you don't see too often in feathered builds, which is generally this kind of 3-star stacking, because I don't actually ever usually end up getting there when I'm open 14, because I spend so much of my economy getting myself into a more comfortable position. But in this particular instance, as you can see, we were very, very, very comfortable setting up my 3-star Shadow Crawler, also setting up a 3-star Taboo Witcher. So I know that now if I start saving gold, get to level 8, find a Razor Claw, we are going to be in such a good position in this game. So this is like round 17 completed going into round 18. I actually start to save gold from this point in time. There was a part of me that was like, should I roll? But realistically, when you are rolling on low gold, you need to think to yourself, if I spend 2 gold, what am I left with? Well, in this case, I'd be left with 3 gold. What would I actually buy that would help me out here? Maybe a Whisper Seer and maybe a Lord of Sand, but that's it. I'm not really giving myself many options on that roll. So it's much better for me to just save this gold. Then over towards round 21, save up enough gold to go to level 8, which will be 20 gold in my scenario, and then go level 8 and just roll from there to find the units that I need. Build up. What I do in a lot of these games is I get to level 8, put the units on that I want. Most of the time that 8th unit is going to be a Razor Claw in this scenario, and then I start saving gold again from round 21. I go up to the next neutral round, and then I roll it down again, because again, if I don't have any need to go to level 9, why would I? I'd much prefer focusing on getting my 3 stars, and with a 3-star Taboo Witcher on the horizon and a 3-star Shadow Crawler on the horizon, it is a much better scenario for me to say, yeah, okay, let's focus on getting 3 stars this game, because we are actually pretty close to getting 3 stars. If I wasn't close to 3 stars, and I had no chance of getting 3 stars in hell, it's much more likely that I'd want to go to level 9 to bring on a utility piece or a utility unit that could be very useful in helping turn the tides of battle. So again, this is just now between rounds 19 and 21, saving gold. I actually have a very strong comp now. We just need a Razor Claw to start to turn things on, getting that level 3 Warpwood Sage. We are close to getting another couple of really important 2-stars. Something that I have started to notice more though, guys, is that, I don't know if you've noticed this as well, in all of the open fort feathered games that I've been playing recently, especially ever since I posted the video, I've been seeing a lot of hunter builds. A lot of people pivoting into hunters when they see an open forter. A lot of people just building hunters right off the get-go because they are the biggest counter to feathered in general. If you see a hunter build, 9 times out of 10, a hunter build in the late game is going to beat it because they just have that evasion piercing.
I beat you.
So I'm just drinking a bit of water. Other thing to note, guys, is I only have 2 more days on holiday.
Nothing is true.
So if you, this is one day, and then tomorrow I'll have one more holiday-based video to go out. One more holiday-based video to go out, and then by Saturday I'm back at home. So I'll have the normal streams returning. I'll have the normal videos returning. I'll probably do some weekend streams this weekend because, yeah, I'll probably do some weekend streams at the weekend. Because I know you guys won't have seen me for a while. I might do some late night ones because it will help me with the American audience for sure. But yeah, so we are in a good situation in this game. We're just going to do the neutral round. It should put us, well, it's almost certainly going to put us over 20 gold. Then we roll down to level 8, and then we just save some gold and start rolling for important units. So you can see here that we now hit level 8. We can basically put anything that we want on. I would always usually put on something like another Shadow Crawler, and then we will essentially over the next few turns pick up key units and save gold up towards the next neutral round. Now I'm going to do something that I don't often do. I'm actually going to skip between round 21 and round 25. The reason being is that nothing major happened between round 21 and round 25. All I did was save gold and buy key units, and the only things that you're going to notice that are different here is that I picked up a single Razor Claw, which allowed me to get to level 3 Warpwood Sage, and I also had a really good rolling spree, as you can see here. I'm actually going to lock this because although I don't want to, I'd like to sell something. Everything on my bench is really crucial to my build, and between rounds 21 and 25 I saved that gold and rolled down, and we found a Razor Claw, we found a level, subsequently got our level 3 Warpwood Sage, we got a level 3 Taboo Witcher, and now we've found an almost level 3 Shadow Crawler, and we've almost found a level 3 Razor Claw, a level 3 Warpwood Sage, and we've just found a level 2, what's it called? Shining Assassin. So that was basically all that happened between round 21 and 25. Basically picked up one unit that helped me turn the tides of, well, not turn the tides, but helped me increase the power of my composition by no mean feat. And now that we're at this situation, probably not going to go to level 9 anytime soon. I'm going to focus on rolling for another Razor Claw. I'm going to focus on rolling for another Warpwood Sage. I'm going to focus on rolling to get a level 2 Lord of Sand and a level 3 Shadow Crawler, because I've just got so many units that can actually power up my composition by a significant margin that there's no need for me to save. It's going to be much better investment of my time to just basically roll this over to much better investment of my time and money to get myself to a power level by rolling here. You might wonder why I switched. The reason I switched is because the Hunter build that I had a hard time against, I didn't lose, but I had a hard time against them. The Hunter build that I had a hard time against was actually on the left-hand side. So I want to put my Razor Claw on the left-hand side to help draw out some of that Hunter build, as you can see. Here, you may notice that I'm also struggling versus this Hunter build here, because we have 2 Hunters in this game. Now, Feathered, especially if you've got a stacked Shadow Crawler and a level 2 Shining Assassin, can beat 3 Hunters for sure. It becomes an issue when you get to 6 Hunters. That's when it really starts to become a major deal. But for 3 Hunters, it's actually okay. Feathered do okay into 3 Hunters, especially if their Hunters at the back line aren't 3-starred or they don't have a lot of items. You'll notice that I just picked up a level 3 Shadow Crawler. That sets me up for a ridiculous late game. Like, that level 3 Shadow Crawler is going to carry the hell out of me, for me. The hell out of me in many rounds. This will single-handedly beat 3 Hunter compositions. She will single-handedly beat Mage compositions. She just does an absolute boatload of damage, as you'll start to see here. She's got Frantic Masks. She's critting for like near 1,000. She is doing a ridiculous 1,673 crit, by the way. Yeah, she's basically just single-handedly killed 4 units on the backline by herself. So level 3 Shadow Crawler is like a major power upgrade. in a lot of feathered compositions. And you can see I'm just now also beating people, knocking them out, and I'm going to be claiming their items too. I have a lot of Magica crystals. Now I'm going to give 2 to my Shining Assassin. The reason I gave 2 to my Shining Assassin is because I want her to be able to keep her shield up almost indefinitely. In terms of shields, you'll see that I've just got shields everywhere. I'm just going to give shields to whoever I feel like, realistically. It's not really exact science when it comes to giving shields to people. I actually sell off my unicorn. I probably can find a unicorn to get the upgrades on my Razor Claw and my Warpwood Sage, but I actually need to find the Razor Claw and Warpwood Sage first, and it's much more likely that I'll just randomly stray across a unicorn and have the gold to buy that unicorn too, because she's only 1 gold, so that's why I ended up doing that here. Not much to say now at this point, because we're just essentially rolling to look for rest of our level 3s, which is the level 3 Razor Claw and the level 3 Whisper Seer. You'll see here that I actually lose to this God Comp, which is a bit of a knock in the teeth because I was looking to build a win streak, but the God Comp is definitely very scary, and I just got a little bit unlucky with the placement of my... Shadow Crawler when she jumped to the back line. She wasn't really getting any big crits. He did a good job of protecting the... did a really good job of protecting the God of Thunder in that scenario as well. Now I actually end up picking up the Razor Claw here, as well as the Strange Egg, which is really interesting, because you'll probably be like, what are you doing with that Strange Egg? Why are you going to use that Strange Egg on the Razor Claw? I actually, just in this scenario, because it is the most obvious use of the Strange Egg, I use it on the Whispers here to get another level 3. There's no other unit that I can really use it on in the near future, and I've actually been given the Razor Claw anyway. It would obviously be much more gold efficient if I was just straight up given the... if I was straight up given the Whisper Seer and the Razor Claw and then use the egg on the Razor Claw. But realistically, I'm not going to argue with getting, you know, potential... Oh, wait, no, I don't. Don't worry, guys. I think that's what I thought I was going to do in my head, but I didn't actually make enough gold to do that. So ignore everything that I just said there. We still need the unicorn anyway, so that's basically... We're basically looking for another Whisper Seer and a unicorn. I thought I was going to use the egg and the Razor Claw. This is why it's sometimes funny looking back over my own games. I'm just like, okay. Also, you might be wondering why I'm moving my assassins back over to the right-hand side. I want Razor Claw to draw attention by himself. I don't want my other assassins to get locked up with attacking the people on the front line, especially people like Shining Assassin, who I need to be on the back line with her shield, basically buying me time. So that's why I move Razor Claw over by himself and take the assassins away from him, because I don't want my assassins getting locked up trying to kill the people that are attacking my Razor Claw. I'd much rather have them jumping to the back line and dealing with them there. He actually ended up doing really well versus this God player. Again, just comes down to the RNG of the crits, and we knock him out, which is amazing, because he's one of the main people that I think I was worried about going into the later stage of the game. And I also pick up an absolute metric boatload of items, which allows me to start stacking my level 3 Shadow Crawler even more so. And you can see here, I get another Frantic Mask. I also find a Vanguard. I also find loads of stuff that I can combine together to make Magic Resist 2. So I just give the Vanguard over to, or the improved shield over to my Shadow Crawler. I also give her a load of damage items. I pick up the Strange Egg, or maybe I don't pick up the Strange Egg. Maybe I didn't want to use the Strange Egg on the Whisper Seer. Maybe I was like, well, you need the Unicorn anyway. I probably would have just picked up the Strange Egg there, because it would have guaranteed me a level 3 Whisper Seer if I found a Unicorn. It would have been the safer way to guarantee myself a level 3. So I think on reflection, maybe the Strange Egg pickup would have been better. Even though it's not very gold efficient, it does guarantee me a level 3, which is important. There's the Unicorn. As you can see, I now get a level 3. I now get myself a level 3... Oh, it's this Strange Egg. Okay, it's this. I get 3 Strange Eggs this game, and the 3rd Strange Egg is the one that I'm like, yeah, okay, let's give that to Whisper Seer. I actually have to lock this as well, so I actually don't even get a roll on the next turn. Not that there is anything in particular that I'm looking for. This is basically my full strength composition at this point. I'm not going to get to level 9, realistically. We don't have enough HP to get there. Everybody doesn't have enough HP to get there, let alone me. So yeah, I basically lock this egg in. This is the final piece to the puzzle in terms of making my composition as strong as it can be. And you can see here, even versus the Hunter player, when he's got 3 Hunters on the board, we're beating him pretty consistently. As you can see, I beat him on his screen as well, which is a pretty big blow for him. Also means that I am setting myself up for potential first place, or at least in my mind I'm setting myself up for a potential first place, because now we are full strength. There is literally nothing that I can add to this composition. within the range of like 20 gold spending, that is going to improve it more so than it already is. This is the full strength open fort feathered composition. I'm against 2 hunter comps, I'm against a 6 hunter comp and a 3 hunter comp. I'm technically not favoured build wise, but because I've got such a stacked Shadowcrawler carrying me with like the 1000 damage crits, she's actually giving me a win condition versus hunter comps. As long as she crits the backline hunters quickly enough and gets the health back, as you can see, a 2000 crit on the siren there, she gives me a win condition versus these hunter comps, because if she can kill the hunters before they can kill her, doesn't matter if they've got the evasion piercing. And you can see here, I crush Nacho on my screen. I beat out Chappie, other Chappie, I can't say his name. I actually give my, I do give my Shining Assassin Orb of Refresh. It's kind of a waste of an Orb of Refresh, realistically, but that was just poor decision making on my part. Like, I could have given the Orb of Refresh, or I could have maybe sold her, looked for another Shining Assassin and given the Orb of Refresh over to my Wind Ranger, which would have been a much better use of my, or over to my Razor Claw even, which would have been a much better use of my items than giving it to a Shining Assassin who has such a low cooldown on her ultimate anyway. We actually then go up against the neutral round, which is fine. No issues with the level 3 Shadowcrawler versus the neutral round at all, in any way, shape, or form. But I've been beating Nacho pretty consistently. Like, it hasn't even been close in terms of, like, it hasn't even been close in terms of the rounds so far. So I feel pretty confident going up against Nacho and getting first place. Like, we have not even had a contest versus him. Like, my level 3 Shadowcrawler has been decimating his backline. He's not even the person that was running 6 hunters, by the way. He was running 3 hunters. So in all shapes and forms, I was feeling confident going into this particular match. I was feeling pretty confident that I was going to get a first place finish here as well. With, you know, a double Frantic Mask and defensive item Shadowcrawler. Now, he changed position, which was my bad. I really should have checked that out. But realistically, as you can see here, I did still find that slot in the back of the hunter comp to fit my Shadowcrawler in. The only thing that I struggled with was that I didn't get enough crits. The siren goes off, and as soon as the siren goes off, the rest of my assassins die. This is pretty much over for me. I was beating this guy almost single-handedly. Shadowcrawler was carrying me versus this guy, but a couple of unlucky crits and I end up getting second place. But second place is still a perfectly good finish for an open fort game. Very happy with the outcome of this game. And also would like to know if you like the shorter version of the game. Kind of cut out some of the more boring rounds and talked about some of the more crucial rounds that we played this game to sort of bring the video length down. If that's what you like, I'll do that with all my videos, so let me know.